That's okay. Okay. Hi, welcome everyone to our kindergarten family meeting. I am Emily Carson. I am the head of school here at Harlem Hebrew. Many of you have had an opportunity to interact with in some way, but we are just really excited to officially start our year even in this crazy time and to get to know you and to get to know our kids. And we appreciate you taking the time to join the call tonight, or if you're watching afterwards, we appreciate you joining in, and we're excited to open our doors, at least remotely, next week to welcome you and your kiddos to the Harlem Hebrew family. We have a pretty straightforward agenda tonight. I'm going to introduce all of our folks who are here, and I think that's really the part you're looking the most forward to is meeting our kindergarten teachers. I'm going to talk a little bit about our academic program specifically for kindergarten, both what it looks like for our kids who are in the building with us and also our kids who are joining us remotely. I'm going to highlight some of the health and safety, and then I might answer a few of the questions that come into the chat if we have time willing and able, and we'll log off. And so I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to get to the good stuff. And so I'm going to introduce you in just a moment. I'm going to let our teachers take over and introduce themselves. We have with us tonight our entire kindergarten team. They have been hard at work over the last few weeks in professional development and setting up the classroom, and they're really just excited to meet all of you and meet your kids. And we have with us our teacher for Ashkelon, Miss Cagney, for Tel Aviv, Mr. Jared, for Netanya, Miss Zoe, and Miss Diamond. For Haifa, and which is our class that will be remote, we have Miss Carly, and Miss Asia is our amazing assistant teacher who supports across all of the kindergarten classes, and we are really so lucky and thankful to have her on our team as well. You will be finding out on Thursday who your child's teacher will be, and so you get to know everybody tonight, but we do really work together as a team, so you'll interact with all of us at some point during the year, although I imagine you might be thinking already, well, I know my child is remote for the first marking period, so I know my child has Miss Carly, but we're excited to introduce all of our teachers, even if you don't have that teaser about who Miss Carly is. And with that, I am going to pass it over to Mr. Jared of Tel Aviv to introduce himself.
Hey everyone, my name is Jared Waters. I've been at Harlem Hebrew. This is my fifth year. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida, and I moved to Florida. And now I kind of feel like a New Yorker already, and I look forward to meeting all of you guys, virtually or anything else. If you ever need somebody, just hit Mr. Jared and I'll be right there. You guys enjoy your night.
And thank you so much, Mr. Jared. Again, he is our teacher for Tel Aviv, and I am going to pass it over to Miss Carly. Miss Carly is our teacher for Haifa, and she's working with our students who are fully remote.
Hi, everyone. My name is Miss Carly. I'll be teaching remote Haifa this year. And I'm from Chicago, fairly new to the city. This is my third year at Harlem Hebrew. And one thing I'm so excited for the school year is to get to know all your children and help them and grow, discover new possibilities. So I look forward to working together.
Thank you so much, Miss Carly. And I am going to pass it over to Miss Cagney of Ashkelon to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ms. Cagney, and I am so excited to see all of you. This will be my first year here at Harlem Hebrew Charter School, and I am so excited. I recently graduated from college in May, where I studied elementary ed and child development. So this will be my first year teaching, and I could not be more excited to be with all of you. Some fun facts about me: I love to travel, I love to play the ukulele, so I'm hoping to bring that into school at some point, and I also love to spend time with my family.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cagney, and I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Zoe, who is one of our two teachers in Netanya. And Ms. Zoe, could you go ahead and introduce yourself for us?
Hi, I'm Miss Zoe. I am co-teaching with Diamond this year in Netanya. This is my second year at Harlem Hebrew. Before this, I was a director at a preschool and then taught preschool for a few years prior to that. So I'm looking forward to bringing my early childhood experience to this. I'm so sorry, that's my dog. And I look forward to meeting you all on the first day.
Thank you, Zoe. It sounds like your dog is also quite excited. I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Zoe's co-teacher and Natanya, Ms. Diamond.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Miss Diamond. I am also a first-year teacher here at Harlem Hebrew, also a member of Teach for America. I'm a recent grad of North Carolina A&T State University, also currently a master's student for Relay graduate program, in which I'm majoring in teaching. I love to travel, recently traveled to South Africa to study abroad. And I'm looking forward to getting to know all the lovely students and helping them grow this year.
Thank you so much, Diamond. And I am going to pass it off last, but certainly not least, Miss Asia, who works across all of the classes as our kindergarten assistant teacher. And she's been with us for many years. Miss Asia, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Miss Asia. This is my 4th year at Harlem Hebrew. I started off as a paraprofessional, working one-to-one with a student at Harlem Hebrew, and then got promoted to be an assistant teacher working for Harlem Hebrew. I can't wait to meet your amazing students, your amazing kids, and I'm excited for the school year. And I'm always around if you need anything. You always see me with a smile also. Can't wait to meet you guys.
That is absolutely so true, Miss Asia. Thank you. And thank you all to our kindergarten team is really, truly phenomenal. We feel very fortunate. We started we ended last year with our entire team of returning amazing kindergarten teachers. And as we were really thoughtful about being able to create this opportunity for our just for kindergarten and pre-K to be able to offer kids the opportunity to be in the building 4 days a week in a smaller class setting, we brought Miss Diamond and Miss Cagney to the team, and it truly, they have been so hard at work over the last few weeks, and we've been in the building today practicing even things as small as arrival and dismissal and setting up classrooms, and we're really just truly excited to actually meet you next week. So with that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what this kindergarten programming is going to look like. And, I just want to start just with our mission. And I know you all have heard this. You've heard the spiel before. It's what brought you to enroll your kids at Harlem Hebrew. But I want to name again, we are, no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what extra planning is required, we are absolutely 110% grounded in our mission. We are looking to lead a national movement of exceptional, diverse public charter schools that teach modern Hebrew to children of all backgrounds to prepare them to be successful global citizens. And that comes out as small as actually teaching kids, what does it mean to be an outstanding problem solver? What does it mean to be a lifelong learner? To learning about different parts of the world, to making sure that even when kids are remote, they still have the opportunity in kindergarten to have Hebrew 4 days a week with one of our amazing Hebrew teachers. And so I wanted to highlight that for you all, because it is what grounds us. It is really what is our deciding factor in all decisions that are made. And if we could go to our next slide, I want to talk a little bit about our reopening plan. And as you know, you all have had the opportunity to choose between two options for your kids. Either sending them to school 4 days a week for in-person learning with some light remote learning on Wednesday, or sending them to a fully remote program Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday with a little bit less on Wednesday, but still that fully remote program. And we know that you all have made those decisions, and we appreciate how thoughtful you all have been about that, because we know it is not easy with all the factors in the world right now. We know some of our families are like, yes, let's get our kids into school. Some of our families, for all the various challenges and circumstances, might be like, it's time to keep my kid at home right now for safety, for our safety, for our family safety. And we all have different circumstances and different experiences right now. And so truly, we are so glad to get to partner with you. And we know a lot of you have reached out about how do we make the best decision for us. And we never want to say this is the right decision for your family. And we are so grateful for your partnership in that. So I'm going to get now a little more in depth about what that looks like. Just as a reminder, for those of you who have chosen, you have made your choice for the first marking period, which ends November 6th. We are able to accommodate if folks need to change from in-person learning for any reason. You don't have to tell us. If you choose to opt your child to move from in-person learning to remote learning, you can do that at any time. However, we are not able to accommodate changes from remote learning to in-person learning until the end of the first marking period. And the rationale behind that is really because we've had to really thoughtfully create classes and create setup and room and number of kids and spaces and adults. It's a bit more complicated this year than previous years. And so we do have that opportunity for you to change your mind at the end of the first marking period, and we're going to accommodate that and work alongside you. And if you want to talk on the phone about any of those things, we're happy to do that. But I wanted to remind everyone of that as I start to go through these plans. So with that big picture, our in-person learning days, we have much smaller groups, and we're actually really it's quite exciting because we are able to accommodate a small group of kids up to 15 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday with their teacher. And we know that this is really going to make such a large difference. And I know our teachers' brains are just like bursting with all the exciting things they can do with a smaller group, even when we are a smaller group socially distanced. And I know Miss Carly is thinking that as well, even while folks are on remote. In addition to our smaller class sizes, we are really limiting movement across the school to decrease and limit exposure. Normally, we like to do a lot of cross-class fun and learning where our older kids come into the kindergarten classrooms and teach lessons and get to know kids, and all the way up to 8th grade. And unfortunately, that is something that we do have to limit this year for the safety of everyone, for adults and kids, most importantly. But we are thinking about ways to bring that fun and joy. We do have slightly shorter hours this year, and that is to accommodate the much longer safe and socially distanced arrival and dismissal, and also to support our students who are in remote learning. And then we also have been really thoughtful about our curriculum, and with a slightly shorter day, and also thinking about what does it mean for our kids who maybe were in pre-K and their pre-K had to close down, or have just been at home and haven't been able to do the fun things that kids normally do in this challenging time. And so we have been really thoughtful about our curriculum to ensure that we are really prioritizing social emotional learning, prioritizing academic inquiry-based learning, and making sure that learning is fun, and it helps set our kids up for long-term success as global citizens, really in first grade, but also beyond. And so we're really excited about that. I want to give you just I think it's easier when we actually see it concrete. For our in-person kiddos, this is what their schedule will essentially look like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so I just sort of wanted to highlight a couple of things here. This is the schedule for Tel Aviv, Mr. Jared's class, but the schedule for the other classes, it has all the same components, just at slightly different times. So we'll have arrival and breakfast. We'll do morning meeting, which is really where we launch our day with so much joy and fun. We will have specials. Every class will either have PE, dance, or art. That is true for our remote kids as well. In past years, we have every day it was a different one of these specials. This year, it will be one special per quarter, again, to limit that possible exposure and movement. PE will be happening on the roof so that it can be outside and with movement inclement weather considering. Our dance class will be happening in our multi-purpose room, which if you've been in the building, it's like our gymnasium / auditorium. And so kids can really dance and have some air movement, though they will be socially distanced. And art will be happening in the classroom, so that, again, we can limit that movement. Kids will have Hebrew for 30 minutes all 4 days of the week, so that we can ensure kids are learning Hebrew and learning it in a fun and engaging way. Math and literacy components are, of course, part of our day, including guiding reading. And what I would just highlight that is something very important to us always, and particularly important to us in this social distancing era, is that we will have lunch every day for an hour. This is going to be lunch and some playtime. This time period is a full hour. And the reason is because our teachers are going to take kids to the park, Morningside Park that is nearby, so that we can really maximize safety with kids eating with their masks off, and also get some time outside, which is so important for our kids. And probably, I think all the adults on this call would say for us as well. So that's essentially what that day is going to look like when we move into the school year. Our remote kids, on the other hand, who in the first marking period will be with the amazing Miss Carly, they're going to have some live real-time instruction. There will be some instruction that what we are calling sort of asynchronous, where they have some choices, but they're going to have a very structured schedule and we are committed to being really thoughtful partners. We know that I imagine some of the adults on this call who have chosen remote learning might be a little daunted by it, because they're thinking, I have to help my child log into these things. And Miss Carly has been super thoughtful. She's going to help you with all of that. And we also have really worked to sort of streamline it as much as possible. We as a school learned a lot from doing our remote kindergarten last year. And while there were some growing pains, I would say all of our teachers did some really phenomenal things and brought some phenomenal joy in learning, even with even not getting to be in person. Again, we are going to continue to have social emotional learning and our academic inquiry and helping kids be curious about the world and analyze the world. Those are our priorities in our curriculum. The curriculum is actually no different between our remote instruction and our in-person instruction. It actually just looks a little different because it's online. And so if we go to our next slide, I will show you just what this schedule looks like for our kiddos who are remote. Again, very similar. What does look a little different, we have some body breaks built in. We have some student breaks built in. We obviously will not be taking our remote kids to the park, but they do still have a lunch break with playtime. And we continue to have Hebrew built in. The one thing I would say is different is that the hours are a little different because kids aren't coming physically into the building. Miss Carly is going to start her day with our kids in morning meeting at 8 a.m. And the reason is because Miss Carly is actually going to be providing some supports in the school, with the kids who are physically here for safety purposes. And the only other thing I would flag is that you'll notice it says special videos. What we are going to do, we want to really be thoughtful about giving kids choice where we can. And so for our remote kids, our specials teachers are going to be doing some pre-recorded classes, and they have been hard at work, and I will tell you they're pretty fun, even for adults. And kids are going to have the option to choose which special they want to go to on any day. And if we will go to our next slide, our information about the details with the links in the schedule, and even our information about laptop distribution, which class your child is in, that's going out tomorrow. But I do want to flag that for the first 2 weeks, our schedule across the school, if you have children in other grades, our schedule is from 8 to 1:15 for the first 2 weeks. That is a very deliberate decision on our part, because we are cognizant that we need to we're starting need to get used to what does it mean to be in school again. particularly if it is remote. We are also very cognizant of, for those kids who are coming in the building, we want to be really thoughtful about previewing what it looks like to come in the building, so the first day isn't so daunting and scary when you're physically in the building. And so the first 2 weeks, we're going to have the same schedule. And we're cognizant, again, of kids in kindergarten maybe doing Zoom learning for the first time. And so you'll notice in this schedule, it's actually quite limited. We have an extended morning meeting at the beginning of every day. We will have an extended closing circle at the end of every day. And then other than that, we are going to have 2 optional fun times with teachers. I know that teachers I've looked at their plans, some pretty fun times built in, just 15-minute dance breaks, brain breaks, fun. And I personally plan to join a few of them myself for my own entertainment. But it is a little bit less Zoom time. That's really quite intentional, because we want to really gradually release and support our kids with that learning. And if we can go to our next slide, that's sort of my academic programming spiel. I'm going to shift, and if you have been in other town halls, some of this information, it is, while it might be updated, it is a bit of a refresher, but I think it is important in this era of living in a pandemic and reopening schools in a pandemic to actually just really name intentionally what health and safety measures we are doing for in-school learning. And I want to start really just by saying, I've said this before, you're going to hear it again, there is absolutely nothing more important to me than the health and safety of our community. That is always true in all my years of working in schools, but I have a whole new appreciation for it, as I'm sure many of us do. And this health and safety of our staff, the health and safety of our kids, there is absolutely nothing more important. And we have all, as a staff, I think I can speak for all of us when I say there's been some sleepless nights. There have been some really thoughtful, like deep planning and research. I have done some scientific research about health that I have never done before, and probably wouldn't do if I was living in the pandemic on my own. But we do, as a staff, truly believe that there's nothing more important than our kids' health and safety. And learning is important, and joy is important, and loving our kids and getting them to be loving, being global citizens is important. But they can't do that unless they are safe and they're healthy and their health is secured. So with that, I want to highlight some of our guiding principles. When we have made our health and safety measures for the school, some of which, again, you have likely heard of from us before. Our guiding principles have really been around how do we socially distance? How do we thoughtfully use PPE and this personal protective equipment? How do we do health screenings and make sure that we are cleaning and disinfecting? How do we ensure that we are doing some environmental management? And by that, I actually just mean air quality and control. And batching. And by batching, I mean keeping the same kids together, not doing any cross mingling of kids. Normally as a school, we do a lot of in-person assemblies. We do a lot of cross-class fun. And those are things that we're thoughtfully changing so we can ensure cross-contamination, and then we're ensuring there is no cross-contamination, and we're ensuring all kids are safe. And so some of those pieces, and I know some of it has been shared before, but I do think it is important to highlight. We are going to ensure that our classes are spaced 6 feet apart at all times. And our teachers have worked really hard and really thoughtfully to plan for that social distancing, from things as small as, honestly, in previous years, our kindergartners have sat at tables together because it's collaborative learning and it's fun. And we still want to have fun collaborative learning, but we ordered all new furniture so that our kids could be 6 feet apart in the classroom. We are going to ensure that our transitions and arrival and dismissal is really structured to allow for social distancing. And there's going to be a lot of signage throughout the building and a lot of signage in classrooms. And most importantly, and I'll say this for social distancing, but it's true for all of these things, we love teaching, and that's why we're here as adults. We love teaching and we love kids. And while social distancing, wearing masks, screening, all of these things are new, but we can rely on the fact that we are a team of, and I'll speak for the team here, but they are a team of phenomenal educators. And they are being really thoughtful about how do we teach kids these skills and how do we help them learn. And so similarly, masks are required from arrival throughout the day. When kids are eating, they will take their masks off. If they're drinking water, they'll take their masks off. I'll recognize for some of our little ones, you might be wondering, well, they've been at home, they haven't had to wear a mask all day. What is that going to look like in the school? And again, I'll say we're going to teach kids. One, we know that it is new and different, and also we know that we are great teachers and we can help teach them and help learn. We're also going to really thoughtfully partner with you when we're teaching those new skills. We're going to say, hey, this is what we're teaching. Can you help reinforce this at home? Or hey, I had to give some reminders today to child X, and we about wearing masks. It was fine. She did great and she listened to those directions, but we did give some directions. Can you follow up at home? So we're going to partner with you. We also are going to ask that every day, all staff and all students are going to be required to complete symptom screening daily before kiddos enter the building. We also are going to be doing some no contact temperature checks for everybody, adults and kids. Teachers can tell you they have been experiencing it as they've come into the building for classroom setup. We also are going to be doing really thoughtful deep cleaning of all the materials in the building, from the really intense spraying, if you've heard about it in the news. I don't understand the science behind it, but I do wish I had one for my apartment. All the way to cleaning things throughout the day. And then we have purchased some additional air sanitation equipment. We are doing a really intense engineering review of the air quality to ensure that we are up to the highest of standards as possible for our HVACs. And our classroom windows are going to remain open whenever possible. And if we can go to this next slide, I think some folks are probably wondering, well, what happens if someone does test positive? And we hope that it doesn't happen, but we know that it could. And in the event that the school is notified that a staff member or student has tested positive for COVID, we are going to follow the protocols from the state and the local health departments. At this time, though we recognize it might change, at this time, that means immediate notification to the City Department of Health and immediate compliance with their subsequent directives. Depending on the circumstances, this may include a temporary shift to remote learning for some students, entire classrooms, or even the entire school. And we know that anything related to this would be at the bare minimum a inconvenience, but we know that following these directives is absolutely fundamentally the most important thing to do to make sure every member of our community, from the staff to the kids to you all and your families, are safe. And so we are going to follow all of those directives. We are going to be in communication with you. If that ever happens, you will not ever be kept in the dark. And we're going to communicate with you in all the ways that we are required and also know are important from the state and local government around health. So what comes next? And I just, we've told you about our programming, which we're really, really excited about. You've met some of our teachers briefly, and we'll get to know them much better. But I want to acknowledge some of the things that might come next. We know that we do have to be further prepared for change. If we have learned nothing this year, it is that things can change, and I'm sure you all feel that as well, particularly in this period of ongoing uncertainty. There are a number of possibilities in the coming weeks and months. We could have one or more students that might test positive for COVID-19, requiring a partial or full closure, like I mentioned, for a period of time. There could be a surge of the virus in New York State or New York City that could lead to all schools closing for a period of time. And also, there could be a vaccine or good news related to the virus that might allow us to return to normal. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because it will happen someday. if not sooner than later. And what I would say in all of these, one, is that we are doing a lot of thoughtful planning. And two, Miss Carly is actually really leading us all with Haifa in that remote learning. So if there does need to be a school closing, we're actually really quite ready. We have Miss Carly's schedule and we have the things that she's learned. So with that, it sort of closes us to the end. I know the only things I would sort of highlight when I look at the questions that were asked, there were some questions about when will you find out your class assignments. There were some questions about laptop distribution. You're going to receive an email tomorrow night with all of that information to reference. You are also going to be receiving this video recording. And of course, when you get your teachers' names, they're going to reach out to you and introduce themselves. And you all, by the end of the year, you're going to think back at this moment and be like, wow, it's crazy that they were just a stranger on this small screen. Now they're somebody who is truly my partner in this work together. So we thank you for taking this time to meet with us tonight. We appreciate you. If you do have any other questions that come up, you can send any of those questions at any time to info@hebrewpublic.org, and you can expect a timely response. And otherwise, you'll be getting more information from us on Thursday. And with that, I will close us out. Again, I am Emily Carson, the head of school. We have our our kindergarten team here. They're going to give us a wave. And thank you all for joining. And we will meet you in person or in a smaller, more intimate setting on Zoom very soon. Y'all have a good night.